Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Uh, I am pleased to be here with Shye Klein Weinstein, who will share with us his story about surviving the Hamas terror attack at the Nova Music Festival. And from here, I'm going to turn it over to B'nai B'rith's CEO, Dan Mariaschin.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Greetings and welcome to the B'nai B'rith webinar. I'm CEO Dan Mariaschin. Thank you for joining us today. We have a very special guest with us today. Shye Klein Weinstein is a 26-year-old photographer from Canada who survived the Hamas attack on the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. The terror rampage on that festival was one of the earliest Hamas attacks on that infamous date. Some 4,000 young people were enjoying Nova, a peaceful desert festival, when the music stopped and the peace was shattered when Hamas first launched rockets, and then terrorists arrived by car, by truck, motorbike, and even paragliders. Nearly 1/3 of the people slaughtered in Israel on that day, October 7th, were killed at Nova. About 40 Nova attendees were also taken hostage. Those who survived saw friends raped and butchered. Shye made Aliyah in June of 2023. On October 7th, he would find himself at the heart of the Nova Music Festival, narrowly escaping the horrific massacre, along with his cousin and a few close friends. Shye is here to bear witness to the horror of that day. He used his photography skills to document the attack, even as he fled for his life. While we hear his story, we must pause to acknowledge Israel's ongoing defensive war against Hamas, as well as taking time to remember the hostages who are still being held captive in Gaza. Our hearts and prayers are with Israel during its war with Hamas and with Jews all over the world as they face growing and alarming anti-Semitism. We will never forget the hostages still being held, and we will not rest until they are all at home. We are committed to peace and security for Israel, always. Shye, welcome to the B'nai B'rith webinar. We are grateful that you are safe and that you have joined us to tell your story. We can only imagine how difficult it must be to relive this experience in order to make sure that the world knows of the atrocities that day. Again, thanks for joining us. We very much appreciate the time that you're going to give us tonight, and we turn over the webinar to you now for you to share your presentation with us. Shye?
Thank you for having me and inviting me here to share. Like I was introduced, my name is Shye Klein Weinstein. I'm 26 years old and I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. This past April, I went to Israel on a vacation. And by the end of my 1-month period in Israel, I decided to stay, making Aliyah by June. On October 7th, myself, my cousin, and several friends went to a music festival called Supernova. This would be my very first music festival. Now I'm going to share my screen. If you've ever been to a music festival, you know what you felt when you first went. You know who you went with. You know who you were there to see, or what bands were playing, or what DJs were there. You know the anticipation building inside of you as you approached, what that was like. Getting to the festival, you know exactly how you felt upon entering and how excited you were, or nervous, or anxious, or stressed, or full of adrenaline. You wanted to have fun with your friends and go home and then contact the people you just made friends with and talk about how much fun it was and when you're going to go again or see them again. And that's exactly what Supernova was like for me. You know, I didn't initially want to go. I thought I wouldn't have fun. I thought it'd be a gross, dirty festival that I wouldn't enjoy. But as the time drew closer, I found myself being more excited. As we physically got closer, I got more and more excited. Upon getting to the festival and hearing the sound of the music and the bass coming from the festival ground, and seeing all of the people waiting to get in, the lines of the cars, the people lined up at security, I was really looking forward to it. I didn't realize I would be. I thought I'd just be, you know, waiting to go home. I thought I'd be there all night from 2 a.m. until 4 in the afternoon the next day, not having fun, being bored, being tired, just wanting to be at home. And that was not the case, getting in there with my friends and my cousin and everybody, and just walking around and talking to new people, and the whole experience. It was some of the most fun that I've ever had since moving to Israel. Going to the festival ground, walking through the camps where everyone's set up, the pathways in between, you see everyone laughing and smiling and joking around and hugging and kissing, and everyone's having a good time. And the only people who might not be having a good time are likely asleep or taking a nap. Walking through that area and feeling the overwhelming sense of joy or positivity was incredible. And entering the festival ground after arriving and getting set up, seeing the main stage to our right, and just all of it, it was incredible. This is what the main stage at Supernova was like. This video was filmed around 5 a.m. And that's what it was. This was people from all over Israel and all over the world, from the US to Canada to Germany, Italy, who come here just to dance and make new friends and have fun and live life. And that's what we did. And it was absolutely spectacular. It was some of the most fun that I've ever had since moving to Israel. And then as the night went on, I'm telling my cousin I'm going to take a break here and there. And I start walking around with my film camera and I'm taking photos, and I'm meeting people. I'm here to make new friends. I want to meet new people. And a really good way to do that is to have a camera with you. Everybody wants to be in the camera and to have a photo taken of them at a time when they're happy. It's a magnet for new friends. So that's what I did. I tell my cousin I'm going to take a break, and I'm walking around here and there. And some of the first people I meet are Dor and his girlfriend Lali. I meet them, they were getting coffee, and I only approached Dor because I really liked his fuzzy coat. I thought, this guy, he knows how to dress well. He seems like a cool guy. So I approached him, I introduced myself, I show him my camera, I ask if they'd like their photo taken. I asked them what they're doing there, if they're just attendees or what. And I learned that Dor was there working. He is a masseuse. He had a booth at the festival where he was giving people massages, something that you could really use when you dance for 6.5 hours. So I talked to him, I introduced myself, tell him what I'm doing there. It's my first festival. He introduces himself, tells me what he's doing for work. And then I say, hey, you guys look great together. You look like amazing people. You're so nice. Can I get your photo? And he's happy to have it taken. So I take their photo. I get his contact information. I say, okay, I'll see you around. Have fun. I'm going to walk around, take more photos, meet new people. And I'm doing this throughout the night. And I'm walking towards the market. And that's when I meet Shye and Dor. Both of them were there selling jewelry, independent of one another. Shye and our conversation was almost exclusively around our shared name and what she was doing there. Speaking with Dor, my conversation with him was mostly about how much he enjoyed coming to these festivals or these events and selling this jewelry that his brother made, because he and his brother, they worked together. His brother made the jewelry and he went to these events and these festivals to sell it. So we spoke about that, and he spoke about how talented his brother was and how much fun it was to come here and meet all these new people and do this thing that he enjoyed doing with his brother. And then he liked to make music. He's a DJ. He plays guitar. He sings. Again, then I ask to take their photos. I say, I'll see you around. I get their contact information and I carry on. And I'm walking around the festival from one spot to another, taking people's photos. I meet Jessica, Jesse, and Itamar on the far left of the festival in the arts tent. I walk over here because I think, while I'm a photographer, I'm an artist. This is absolutely a place I can meet some like-minded people. This is a place I can meet people who I know I'll get along with. And I do. I learned Jessica is a tattoo artist, something I'm a fan of. She lives near my grandparents. Jesse works in mental health. And Itamar is a graphic designer and a phenomenal artist. And all of them, we talk lots for maybe a half hour before I decide to go. Again, I get their contact information. I get a photo. And I tell them, I'll see you around. Have fun. I'm expecting to see most of these people again and look for them. So I take the photos, we talk a little bit, and I go. This is Shani, Noah, and Arik. And I only took their photo because they approached me and asked me to. They were very nice. They looked like they were having fun. And I was happy to take their photo. We spoke a bit. I introduced myself, told them I'm from Canada. This is my first festival. And the same thing I say to everyone. It's a good way to make new friends. I'm new, show me around. So that's what I did. I get their contact info. I say, I'll see you around. And I carry on. This is my friend Barak and his girlfriend Elmog. My cousin Mordecai and Barak are very much into this rave culture and this psychedelic trance music scene, something that I'm new to. And so it was my cousin Mordecai and Barak who mentioned to everybody, hey, there's this festival happening in October. Do you guys want to come? And the initial plan was for it to be us, a total of 20 people coming to this festival. But scheduling and this and that came up, and it became a group of 8. My cousin Mordecai, myself, Barak Elmog, and some mutual friends. So if it wasn't for them wanting us to have fun, we might not have been there. But I'm glad that we got together and we did go. This is a different Itamar. This photo was taken around 5 a.m., around the same time as that first video you saw. I only spoke to Itamar because I really liked his sweater. I said, I really like your sweater. Would you mind if I get a photo of you? He's posed. You can see behind him is a tent, and he's illuminated by the yellow lights that were along the pathways. And I get his photo and I say, I'll see you around, have fun, and get his contact information so I can send him the photo like I've been doing the whole night. And I carry on. And my friends, they're most of the time they're dancing or they're getting drinks or going back and forth with this. And they're at the main stage most of the night. And I get a text from my friend Ellie. She's like, everyone's going back to the camps. They're going to take a break. I'm waiting for you at the main stage. I'm still dancing. We'll go back together. You'll meet me and we'll go back together, or something like that. So I go back to the main stage to meet my friend Ellie. And I can't find her. I don't know where she is. There's a lot of people. It's really crowded. It's dark. It's 5 a.m. It's getting lighter, but it's hard to see still. So I hop on a FaceTime call with her and I'm showing her the speakers next to me, to my left and to my right. I'm like, where are you? I'm here. She's doing the same. It's a bit of a back and forth. And I do find her, but it's not because I looked really hard or because she found me. It's because 6:30 comes around and that's when the rockets begin. And, the rockets are intercepted above our heads by the Iron Dome, very close. If you've ever been to Israel and you've seen rockets launched, typically it's off in the distance and you see the rockets get caught a kilometer or 2 away. They're caught in the sky by the Iron Dome. And, 15 seconds later, you hear the boom, and then that's it. Maybe there's sirens, maybe not. But for us, we were so close, there was no delay. There was no seeing it and watching it explode and then hearing it. It was seeing them explode and hearing them explode almost at the exact same time. And this isn't one rocket, it's not 2, it's not 5. It's dozens and dozens and dozens and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rockets from both Gaza and the Iron Dome being intercepted so fast, it sounds like a kick drum. It sounds like a boom, 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 boom. And it's scary, you know? Most people are inconvenienced though, you know? They're Israelis, they're used to rockets. Oh, no rockets, they'll run out and we'll continue partying or we'll go home. But when the rockets started, I find my friend Ellie. I grab her, we go back to the camp, and I see people are starting to leave right away. People aren't running in terror, they're not running for their lives, they're not scared they're gonna die. They see all these rockets and they feel as uncomfortable as I do, and they decide to leave. No doubt. And again, like I said, there's many people who thought, oh, it's just rockets, it's nothing, it's the usual. And they were taking their time packing up and going. And that was us for a while. We took our time. I wanted to leave right away. I'm telling my friends, let's go. Party's done. I don't think it's going to continue. And I want to leave. A couple of us, suggest, we're okay. It's not too dangerous. There's nothing to worry about. They're not shooting rockets at us. They're shooting rockets over us. It's fine. I'm sure there was a lot of that thought process going around. It's a very understandable thing to think, given where you live and how long you've lived here. It's a normal thing. And my friend Yael, on the left here, she's reading on her phone names. She's reading Ramat Gan, Rishon LeZion, Herzliya, Tel Aviv, Kfar Aza, Sderot, Netivot, so on and so forth, names of cities that are popping up on the Red Alert app we have on our phones. We have this app in Israel, and it rings out with a little chime and a notification. It tells us where there's rockets and, to get into cover. And so she's reading the names of the cities, and there's nowhere else for us to go. We're in the desert. There's trees and there's tents and people, but there's no bunker. There's no staircase. There's nothing. So this is what the overall mood was like.
Everything is fine. Really fine.
It's the part is over. זהו, אני גם מעדיף להישאר פה בחיים. The part is over, even if we don't want it to be. Nothing is continuing after this. Are you saying stay because it's safer? No.
They don't shoot at us. They shoot at there.
Everybody's gonna
Nothing is safer. You don't have a safer from here.
No, of course.
Wow, anyway, so we are not in big danger. That's the thing.
But I'm just saying, there's no reason, because the festival is not continuing after this.
I don't think so.
So maybe we might as well just start packing up. Unfortunately.
No, I mean, there's no rush because let everybody.
Oh, because everyone's rushing out. Yeah.
It's gonna be a fucking jam.
I understand.
So that was the general idea, why would we think we're in any danger? Rockets are not an abnormal thing. They're shooting way past us. They're shooting to the cities miles away. There's no rush. We'll avoid the traffic. We'll wait for the rockets, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to be out of there. The rockets weren't stopping. I was uncomfortable, but I'm typically the person who's, I don't know, I'm an older brother, so maybe that has something to do with it. I drank the least. And plus, I'm not born in Israel. I'm not raised in Israel, so I'm not desensitized to these things. Not much talking followed after. We agreed to leave. We started to pack up our things, and I tell my cousin, listen, while you're packing up, I'm going to take maybe 15, 20 minutes max. And I'm going to take my camera and I'll walk around. I'm going to take photos and I'm going to help people out if they need it. And then I'm going to come back while you guys take the exact same amount of time to pack up our things. And he says to me, okay, sure, take your time. And that's what I do. I start, I start to walk around, start to take photos. First, I meet Ori and Ivegni. They were eating breakfast singing the national anthem. And I introduced myself. I asked them if they need a hand with anything. They don't. They're fine. They're all smiles and laughing around, not scared, not on the outside. Just, you know, acting like it's a normal day for them, I suppose. And I asked to take their photo, and as you can see, they're happy to have it taken. And I tell them, I'm going to come back this way when on my way back. If you need a hand, let me know. I'll see you around. And I walk off. And this is Hodaya and Ite. And Hodaya was part of the security. She was not armed. So I can only assume that she was there to make sure that the festival goers like ourselves stayed safe amongst one another, not drinking too much or taking too much or just getting hurt. She was helping Ite close his canopy. And I saw they were struggling a little bit and I gave them a hand. And I asked them after, can I get your photo? And they're total strangers. Like they're not friends or anything like that. Just Odea helping out Ite. And I got their photo, gave them a hand, said goodbye, get home safe, have fun. And I left. This is my cousin Mordecai with a shirt this time. And next to him in the hammock is Ran Schaefer. Ran was with us. Not with us, he was next to us. His camp area was right beside us. He had a hammock set up, as you can see. And the whole time we're together, he's in this hammock, calm, cool as a cucumber, laughing, joking around. It didn't even look worried or anxious or anything like that. And we're talking for a bit, and he introduces himself. He says that he lives on a local kibbutz. We're talking about what that's like because I've never lived on a kibbutz. I'm a new immigrant. I'm an Oleh Hadash. So he tells us he lives in kibbutz Be'eri with his wife and his 3 daughters. And we're talking a bit. He tells us he's very experienced with these festivals. It's not his first, second, or fourth. It's not his 15th, 20th, or 25th. He's been coming to these festivals since he was my age. I'm 26. Very nice guy, warm guy, the kind of person, you get his phone number and you're not losing it. So the only time he stood up is because I asked him to so I could take his portrait. And, I do my walking around, I take my photos, I come back. My friends are ready to go, our stuff is packed up, and we say goodbye to Ran and we head off. The parking lot is right next to us. It's not even 50 meters away. We're very close. The fence is pushed over so people can easier leave the festival ground. And we make our way to the parking lot. That's where we meet Moti. Moti arrived to the festival in a minibus driven with maybe 15, 20 other people. And he was going around asking people if, are you okay? Are you safe to drive? Are you sober? Do you want to ride? Do you need water? Are you forgetting anything? Do you have all your stuff? That sort of thing. And this is our interaction with Moti.
You can see my fucking hand.
Shye, you're driving?
I'm absolutely okay to drive.
Good. You need water or something?
We have water. Thank you very much.
An excellent guy. So that little scenario plays out. We get our things finished loading up in the car. We're ready to go. And before anybody has a chance to actually get in the car and leave, that's when we all hear gunfire from the festival ground. That's when we all collectively hear it. And, we all look at each other and something is wrong. I already felt uncomfortable, but now we're hearing gunfire. And now we really know something's wrong. It's not just rockets. Now people are screaming. Now people are running in terror. Now people are afraid. Now people are just running, leaving their stuff, driving off. The parking lot already starting to empty because people, like I said, started leaving right away. And I decided I'd drive because I was the least not sober. I only had 1 beer that night. And so I climb in the driver's seat. My cousin, his girlfriend, Ellie, Yael climb in the car as well. My cousin in the passenger, the girls in the back. Our other 3 friends who are with us, Barak, Doraz, and Almog, they go off somewhere else in their own car and we split up. So now we're leaving. I'm driving us out of the festival ground. I'm honking my horn. I'm swerving around. I'm trying not to hit people, make things worse for anyone. I'm driving down this dirt road towards the exit. People are running across in front of me, and I see the exit and I see all of the cars, dozens and dozens, dozens and dozens of cars, all trying to get out from the same place at the same time. And if you've ever been to a festival or a concert or anything like that, you know it's hard enough as it is when people aren't being shot at or running for their lives. And I see all these cars, and I tell my cousin, I'm not waiting for these people. Screw that. I don't know them. They're not my friends. I'm not in their car. They're not in my car. I'm not driving them. I'm not responsible for them. I have no control over what's going on over there. I'm driving this car, so it's my responsibility to make sure we're okay while I'm driving. And, he says to me, you have to care about them because they're our brothers and our sisters. And I don't respond. I just think to myself, no, you can't care for your brothers and your sisters or take care of them if you're dead. So I just decide to drive off the road. I go around all of the cars that are waiting to leave. I just go to the left of them onto the bumpy, rocky terrain of the Negev desert, past shrubs, past rocks, past trees, past bushes, whatever, passing everybody, pushing my way to the very front. And now I'm in the very front. And I can see a way out. I can see the main road. But we're stuck behind two cars because there's an embankment on our left that's too steep for us to drive over. And I'm white knuckling the steering wheel, and I'm looking around, and I'm starting to look in the other cars around us. I'm seeing people scared or panicked or talking or all of it. But I'm starting to notice in some cars, they're empty. They're not even on. One car here, one car there, one car here, one car there, one car here. Some cars are empty. These people are just fleeing their cars on foot, abandoning them where they are. And the people in front of us, they're honking their horn and they're inching forwards like you do when someone's in traffic and they're not moving. And I look through their car. I look through their windshield at the car ahead of them, and I see it's not even on. There's nobody inside that car. I can see inside the windshield. There's no one there. And I tell this to my cousin, and I tell my cousin, I don't speak Hebrew. You do. Can you please go out, knock on their window, and tell them what's up? And if they leave, if they go around, we can do it as well because we're stuck until they move. So that's what he does. He goes out of the car, knocks on their window, and tells them what's up, and they drive off and they go around and they leave who knows where. Now we can leave. And I drive us around, I drive us to the main road, and I see to our right, everybody's driving down to the right, lots of traffic that way. No one wants to go there. I look to our left, north, the way we came, blocked by police and security from the festival because we don't know it at the time, but that's the direction of Kibbutz Be'eri, where Hamas is killing 80% of the population or something like that. So we can't go that way. The only other way for us to go is straight ahead into an empty field. And that's what I do. I drive us straight ahead into an empty field. And we don't even make it 25 meters into this field because my cousin's girlfriend, Tamara, she's commanding us. She's shouting, she's screaming for us to get out of the car. She's screaming, Shye, Mordecai, Yael, Ellie, everybody get out. She's just trying to get us all out of the car. Everyone run, get out now, go, 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 go. Because we're being shot at. There isn't a guy 25 meters behind us aiming at our car, specifically shooting at us because then we'd be dead. But everybody around us were all being shot at. And so we flee the car. We just run into this empty field. There's nowhere else for us to go. And myself and my friend Ellie are in the front running. She's a little bit in front of me. And I remember saying to her, don't run too fast because you might trip, sort of half joking, but also being serious. And I look behind us. I see my cousin's girlfriend and Yael. And all four of us, we all get down low to the ground. And I'm holding onto my friend Ellie so tight, I think I might hurt her. And I see my friends doing the same, ducking down to the ground behind us. And I look past them, looking for my cousin, trying to find out where he is. And I see the back of his head as he's running back to the car to get it, to come pick us up. So he gets in the car, he drives back towards us, he picks us up, and now I'm in the passenger seat and he's driving. And we're back in gridlock, looking for a way to go. cars beside us, cars in front of us, everyone exchanging confused looks, like Orr and his friend. Nobody really sure what's going on. I have no doubt people have an idea. No one's sure. It's chaos. Nobody knows where to go. Nobody knows what to do. We're all in the same situation. And, we're driving around this field aimlessly for what feels like forever. People running on foot into the forest next to us, people standing on their cars looking for a way out, people honking, people screaming, people running on foot just past all of us through the field. And at some point, I spot in the distance, there's a field not far from us. After driving around for a while, I see green in this field, and I see trees, 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 and I see in the middle of all those trees a little space, trees or bushes or shrubs, whatever you want to call them. And I see this space, and I tell my cousin, maybe that's a road, maybe that's a service road, maybe it's a way out. I don't know. Let's drive towards it because there's nowhere else for us to go. He also agrees, and we start driving towards it. And well, this is it.
We were just driving in circles. I'm watching those people over there. Yes, that is a road.
يلا دبابلة.
Windows closed.
No, مفيش موتى sounds.
Hard taking video and photo at the same time. I know straight to the field where that's being marked. Like you said, keep moving, yes? Wow, yeah, it's taking very nice. Very nice morning. Yeah, this is a good place to be. Everyone get down. Fuck. We're good. It's okay. Everybody slide down in your seats. Samara, slide back down. What's the... Morty, can you answer this? What's the nearest border where they might be coming from? Right now we're going east. No.
יש פה רעש של יריות. כן, כן. בתוך
Ellie, what did it say? What did it say? To the right. Yes, yes, yes. Good.
So we find this field of orange trees, and we see it's a road, and we see there's already people there, and we're driving through these rows of orange trees, and the whole time I think there's men waiting to shoot us from one field to the next, and then eventually we see cars driving through these dirt fields to another, to the back of one, and we just assume it's a road they're driving to because they're not coming back. We follow them, and it is a road. It's a gravel road. There's two cars in front of us, and we're driving down this road. Passing two Thai workers on bicycles. We invite them into our car, and they ignore us. One of the two cars in front of us, it pulls off the road behind a warehouse, presumably to hide. I don't know, but that's where they go. And then us and the other car driving down this road, we come to a main street going right and left, a paved road. And both us and the car in front of us decide to make a right turn going down this road, but not even driving for 5 minutes. The other car they turn around and they make a U-turn and they wait for us to do the same thing. They wait for us to follow them. And we start to make a U-turn. We start to turn around, and at some point we stop, and I think we all, or myself and my cousin, or who knows, my cousin's driving, realized that this is back the way of the festival. This is back towards where we just came from. It's not through the fields, but it's the same direction. So we stop the U-turn and we continue the way we were going initially, driving down this forested road around corners, checkpoint here, checkpoint there. We reach a few checkpoints driving down this road. Each time it's the same questions, are you Israeli? Yes. Where are you going? Tel Aviv. And then we give them the whole spiel of, we just left a festival, there's gunfire, people screaming. It's horrible, like something's going on. We need to get home. Each checkpoint, the same thing. They let us through. We're driving along, approaching the city of Netivot. And, as we're approaching the city, some cars are passing us the opposite way. My cousin honks his horn and waves for them to turn around so they don't go that way, but they all ignore us. We're passing crashed cars, cars abandoned in the middle or on the side of the road, cars riddled with bullets, bodies in cars. And we get towards the city of Netivot, rockets overhead, 3, 6, 9, 12 from the Iron Dome from Gaza. We're approaching an intersection. We see abandoned cars, cars riddled with bullets, cars with bodies in them. This car had a body in it. Thankfully, you couldn't see it because it's so dark. We're coming to this intersection and we think there's a checkpoint. We see a bunch of IDF border patrol crowded around one another in the middle of the intersection. And, the sirens ring out. We pull up, we approach. Nobody talks to us. I look to our right. There's a reporter talking to a camera in the back of his trunk. And we realize this is not a checkpoint. This is nothing even like a checkpoint. There's no one asking us where we are, who we are, where we're going, nothing. So I tell my cousin, just drive over the median in the middle of the road and drive past them all. And if it's a checkpoint, well, they're soldiers. They can stop us. And that's what we do. We're driving by, driving over the median, passing an ambulance. We see ambulance workers crowded around a body on the ground. But nobody stops us. Nobody talks to us. Nobody looks at us. Nothing. They just ignore us and we drive by. And so we continue down this road. This slide is a video of that previous scene of us driving by Netivot past what we think is a checkpoint.
Go. Over the median. Yalla.
Wait. Oh, God. Fuck. Fuck.
Good. Nice. Ellie's got it. Ellie's got it.
שחררו את הטלפון. אני חייבת, זה פשוט צע.
So we're driving down this road past Netivot, past more abandoned cars, more crashed cars, more rockets overhead. And, we make it towards the highway, seeing these black pillars of smoke off in the distance, not realizing that each of these black pillars of smoke is a It's a different kibbutz where Hamas is burning people alive in their homes. We just see all this smoke around us, all these cars riddled with bullets, all these crashed cars, all these abandoned cars, all these bodies in and around cars. And we're not realizing that it's a huge terror attack. We're not realizing it. It's not something we know there's something going on. We know there's a terrorist attack, but we don't realize it's the entire south of Israel. Who even thinks that's a possibility? Definitely not us. And so we we were driving down the highway and we start to see cars, a group of cars here, a group of cars there. One of the first cars I see on the highway is facing the wrong way on the shoulder to our right, facing us because we're going. And the driver is in the driver's seat and he's shot in the face. We're passing him down the highway and, we see some IDF off on the other side of the road around a single border patrol vehicle. We pass them, we see another group of cars and they're stopped and their belongings are all over. And we see there's bodies in cars, bodies around the cars. We freak out every time we see bodies. And as we're driving down even more and more, we see that there's another car, another silver car, a single one, same place as the last on the shoulder, and we're approaching it. And as we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer, I see there's two figures next to the car. We all do. I don't know if the girls in the back do, but me and my cousin absolutely do. And we see these two figures getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And they're moving their arms in the air. They're waving their arms above their heads like this, like they're trying to get our attention, like they want us to stop or slow down, and they're doing this. They're like trying to stop, slow down, pull over, whatever, something along those lines. And we get really close to them. We can see the doors of the car open. We can see there's two men next to it wearing blue jeans, cargo pants, black t-shirts, one with a tactical vest, the other without, both carrying machine guns and black balaclavas pulled over their face. And we see this and we lose our minds. We freak out. We tell my cousin to drive fast, go, 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 sa, don't stop, go, Mordecai. Whatever you can think of, we told him to do it. And we slow down for just a second. And one of the men raises his gun towards us, but he doesn't fire for whatever reason. We see in the car next to them, in the driver's seat and the passenger seat, is a man and a woman shot dead. And we freak out. We're losing our minds. We fly past these men. They don't shoot us. Who knows why? Passing these bodies in the car. And we see another car ahead of us, stopped on the side of the road, trunk open, belongings all over the ground. And from left to right, from the shoulder to the middle of the road, 1, 2, 3 bodies. We have to drive around the best we can. My cousin driving around the best he can. I say the best we can because we still ran over the legs. And we think we're okay. And we think we're coming to another checkpoint. We see more IDF vehicles in the road. This next slide is a video of that scene that I just described to you, of us passing all those cars and those armed men. So if that's not something you'd like to see, you may look away or mute your screen.
شو قصة؟
Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop.
Mordecai,
Mordecai,
stop.
don't stop.
Stop, لا لا
Down,
تسوي،
down,
لا
down.
يستقل، لا stop.
Everybody down. Yeah, Ellie. Down. Head between your legs. Fast, 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 fast. Foot, don't stop. Foot, stop. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Sorry.
Let him drive fast.
Yeah.
Let him drive fast. Quietly. Mordecai, Mordecai, stop.
Go!
Stop, 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 stop.
Go, go.
Stop, stop.
Watch the watch. Around.
Stop.
Around.
So after passing these men and all these bodies, we're stopped by other IDF in front of us, and we think it's a checkpoint. We're waiting for someone to come ask us where we're going. We are. No one asks us. This vehicle closest to us, they pull up past us and they stop in front of us. We pull up parallel to them and we ask, what's going on? My cousin's talking to them, tells us we need to get through. We're going to Tel Aviv. We just left a horrible drive. We just left a horrible scene. Armed men, dead bodies everywhere, dozens of dead bodies. We need to leave. We need to go this way. We're in the middle of the Negev desert. We're so far south. There's only like 2 roads back to Tel Aviv. This is one of them. We have to go this way. And the soldiers in the car, they tell us, it's not safe. It's dangerous. We have to leave. We have to turn around. We have to back up. It's not safe. I look ahead of us in between the other 2 vehicles and I see on the ground 2 soldiers dead, face down on the ground. And we all become even more panicking the whole time. And the soldiers, they tell us it's not safe because off on the right, somewhere in the bush, there's terrorists hiding. And we leave. They let us through. They tell us to go fast or something, but we don't turn around. We go straight through, driving past it. And the whole time, I think there's terrorists waiting to shoot us because we're an easy target. But it doesn't happen. Driving home past more abandoned cars, more crashed cars, more cars riddled with bullets. I'm texting my brother, photos of the people I met and they're okay. This is before the rockets or before the gunmen. And then I text him, I'm safe now because we're driving home. We think we're safe. I love you. I'm okay right now. My friends are missing. New friends I just made dead. Corpses everywhere. 8 of us went, 4 came back. 1 friend we learned is okay, 3 others unknown. I know people who were killed. I saw people with holes in their faces. For now, it's not over. And then we make it back to Tel Aviv. We make it back to my cousin's apartment in the south of Tel Aviv. The 5 of us. And, our other 3 friends are not answering their calls, texts, nothing. We don't know where they are. Everyone thinks they're dead or something else. Everyone's crying. Everyone's screaming. It's a horrible mood. Our friends are coming over to be with us. And we're just beside ourselves. Everybody's at my cousin's apartment now. Everyone's trying to digest what we just saw, what we just experienced, what we just witnessed. Nobody's sure what to do next. Nobody's sure what's going on. And I don't know if it was late that night or early the next morning or a combination of the 2, maybe like 5 a.m. We found out our other 3 friends, Barak, Doraz, and Almog, were okay. They survived. They hid in the woods for 6.5 hours while Hamas hunted people around them in a bush. But they survived. They're okay. And we learned they were okay and we were relieved. But, my friends, my cousin, Yael, Ellie, Tamara, they've lived here their whole life, most of their life, all their life. So they had a lot more friends there than I did. So I can't imagine how they were doing. Myself, my next concern was that all of the people that I just met, all the people that I took photographs with are dead. So right away, as soon as the store is open the next day or the following 2 days, I go to the store and I get my film developed because I photographed mostly on film. I get my film developed, I get it scanned, and I post to Facebook all over the internet. I say, I was at the Supernova Festival. I took these photos. I met these people. Please, I need to know if they're okay. Right away. Hundreds of messages, hundreds of comments, all of the above. That's my brother. That's my sister. That's my cousin. That's my boyfriend. That's my girlfriend. That's me. That's my friend, so on and so forth. I'm starting to learn whether or not people are alive or dead. And I'm terrified that I have more people dead in my camera rolls than people who are alive. First, I learned that Dor and his girlfriend Lali are alive. They went to the festival with some other friends, Alex and Gilad. They fled the festival ground in their Jeep. They were separated at some point from Alex, who was kidnapped into Gaza. Gilad, Dor, and Lali fled towards Kibbutz Be'eri, thinking they'd be safe. On the way, at some point, Gilad was shot in the head. And when they got to Kibbutz Be'eri, they realized it wasn't safe, but they were forced to flee their car. They went and hid in a public washroom, and Dor held it shut with his own hands while people were being murdered all around them. Gilad bleeding out in the washroom. But they survived, all three of them. They were rescued, and Gilad survived. Shye was also rescued. She was saved. She managed to survive. But Dor did not. Dor was murdered in the festival ground. And it really, learning he died was one of the only few times that I cried, because I felt it was unfair that was a moment I experienced and not somebody he cares about, his girlfriend or his mom or his dad or his brother. I learned Jessica survived as well. She was rescued by a man who rescued over 15 other people in his white van. Jessica and over a dozen other people together. They were brought to a police station where she told me she witnessed the arrest of 6 terrorists, some of them looking as young as we were. And she's okay. Itamar and Jesse as well, they survived. They were rescued. Shani, I learned that she also survived. She and some friends, different friends than Noah and Arik, they fled the festival in a car. And as they were driving down the road, 3 vans approached them and they opened fire on their vehicle as they were driving towards them. And they all ducked down in their car and they sped past these men, past these vans, shooting them, and they escaped. They survived. Recently, in the last 3 or so weeks, there was a CCTV video published where you see Hamas executing some girls in the street. And in the background of this video, you can see a white car, and the door opens and a person runs out and they fall over and they get up and they continue to run while them and other people are being chased by Hamas. And I found out later that that's Noah. You know, she tells me like, yeah, that's me. That's my car. That's me running out of the car and falling over and getting up and continuing to run while people are being murdered around me. But Shani, Noah, and Arik all survived. They're all okay. Barak and his girlfriend Almog, Doraz, survived by hiding in the woods in a bush while Hamas was meters away from them. They were not found. They didn't see them. Just pure luck. Itamar also survived, but not before he was shot twice and his friends were killed. Ori and Evgeny, they also survived. Evgeny went right to his millennium service within a week following the attack. Ori is doing, everybody who's okay, they're just living their life. They're not moving on because there's not really an easy way to move on, but nobody's just doing nothing. Odea and Itay. Odea was one of the first people I found with Dora and Lali. I learned she was okay and she survived, and I was so happy to hear that. And I found Itay much later after Odea, and I even saw him. And when I spoke to him at Havat Ronit, which is an event venue 30 minutes north of Tel Aviv, typically it's for weddings, but in this case, it's being used to host all the survivors from the festival as a safe zone where you can receive therapy of many kinds. There's counselors, mental health support, free food, massages, a very positive environment for these people. And I met Itai there, and I asked him, first thing I asked him, have you heard from Hodea? Have you spoken to I wanted to know. And I say this to him, and he tells me like, what do you mean? I thought she was dead. They were not friends. They were strangers. He didn't have her number, didn't have her text, WhatsApp, nothing. So I tell him, no, she's alive, she's okay. And he doesn't believe me at first. I have to show him my WhatsApp and her messages back and forth to me and our voice messages to one another. And he's over the moon. He's so happy to hear this because he thought she was dead the whole time. But I'm glad that I could tell him that she is not and that she isn't. This is my cousin Mordecai, of course. He survived. We were together. But Ren Schaefer did not. He was murdered in the woods by Hamas. And when I learned he died, that's also when I learned he had a family in Kibbutz Be'eri. I assumed he did, but I didn't know the specifics. And I learned about his wife and his kids and his sister, and I was horrified to learn whether or not they'd be okay or not. I didn't want to know. I didn't ask. I cried when I found out he had been killed. And I found out that his wife and his 3 kids, his 3 daughters, survived, but his sister was also killed. And both Ran and Dor, I printed off their photos and I gave them to their families because I feel like it's the bare minimum that I could do to help them. I even learned Moti survived. Moti and over 20 other people fled on foot for hours, over 5 hours, he told me, on foot to the site of Midburn, which is another festival that was supposed to take place a few weeks following Supernova. He ran all the way from Supernova to this other festival location, and by pure luck, the people who were responsible for Midburn were there setting it up when the attack happened, and so they were there and told to stay put. And because of that, when Moti and the others fled in their direction, they saw them, and they were rescued. The bus that Moti came in was driven by a Palestinian, a Gazan worker, a Muslim, a Palestinian from Gaza, working in Israel as a bus driver. And in October, Hamas put out a video of them having captured this man and executing him. Even after, in Arabic, he tells them, I'm Muslim, I'm Palestinian, I'm from Gaza. All of this, he tells them, and they still choose to kill him, not caring that he's also a Palestinian from Gaza, just like they are. I even managed to find Or and his friend and learn that they're okay, which, every time I find one of these people and I learn they're okay, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I didn't just make friends with a bunch of people who've been murdered. So now that I've found all those people, and I know as I'm finding these people, they're all okay, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't have the motivation to continue just photographing concerts and events and pretty things and doing that. I want to help. I want to do something that's a way to contribute. And so right away on the 11th or so of October, I contact whoever I can and I say, listen, get me whatever media contact you have, share my contact with whatever media you know. I was at the Supernova Festival. We almost died. We saw bodies. We saw terrorists. I need to share with as many people as possible. And so for the whole month of October, from the 11th until the 25th or 26th, I'm doing interviews every single day, 1, 2, 3, sometimes 6 times a day, on Zoom, in person, on the radio, all of the above, from MSNBC to ABC and the whole alphabet in between. Every media outlet you can think of, except Israeli. I'm specifically targeting North American media the whole month, almost nonstop, on top of looking for these people that I photographed and trying to find them and see them in person again, physically. And then one of these interviews, I'm asked by CNN, Shye, we want to do an interview with you and Dor. We want to go back to the Supernova Festival where you met and conduct an interview there. And I say, yes, right away. It's probably a bad idea, but yeah, sure, I'll do it. So they take us back to the festival and we get there and it's not it's not the same place we were. It's
Over there. Don't wait to the cameras on.
Yeah, I will show you. I will speak about it. 200,000
it's totally different. It's not the same place. It was like I can't even call it a war zone because it was not a war zone. We weren't fighting back with guns. We were being killed. It was a massacre. And you could see the death. You could see where the death happened. There was no bodies, but you could see where there was. You could see all the blood. You can see all the trees with bullet holes in them or splattered with blood, soaked in blood, bloody handprints, bullets on the ground, bullet holes in the ground, bullet holes in the things here and there, bars soaked in blood, smell of death. You know, you can feel it in the air. And then I stopped getting interviews, and now I'm back to, okay, now what? How can I do something to help? And then I'm approached with this idea for this project. Somebody texts me, Dar, and she says, Shye, I have this project I'm working on. I'm calling it Faces of October 7th. I want you to come to North America, and I want you to go to universities and communities and here and there, and I want you to share your story with all these people and go through your photos and your videos and your story because people need to hear it. And I say yes. I refused 2 rescue flights back to Canada, but I say yes to this. I didn't want to leave, but I want to help. If I can help by leaving, sure, I'll do that. So from the 5th of November until today, that I've been doing every single day from New York to Los Angeles and everything in between, all of New England and all of the West Coast and Toronto and Montreal. I'm going from school to school, from community to community, talking to groups as small as 15 or as big as 500, sharing the same thing that I'm sharing with you now over and over and over again, almost every single day. And, you know, I'm happy to share 10,000 times if need be, because I feel it's something incredibly necessary to see and hear about and witness, and to understand that it can happen when you're not expecting it. You know, none of us knew what was going to happen when the rockets started. We thought just rockets. Nobody knew what it would lead to or what would come after. But right now, everybody's being strong and everybody's doing what they can to help, whether they're serving in the army or they're volunteering here or there. My friends volunteering to be with kids, just to play with them or braid their hair, or my other friends who are volunteering to drive from one place in Israel to the other place, picking up boxed goods, delivering them to families or soldiers or a mix of the above. I know people who have left the country and are letting people who have been displaced from their homes stay in their apartments. Everybody is doing something to help. Nobody's just waiting around for this to be over. And people are still living their lives and going about their lives, because if we don't, then Hamas wins. They're terrorists. They want to cause terror. They want to stop your life through any means, whether that means killing you or making you so scared that you can't leave your home. So right now, everybody's doing their best just to be strong and support one another and to not be scared and to not stop their life. You know, all of the people that I met, all the people that I photographed, over 25, maybe 30 people, all of them except Dor and Ran are alive. They're all okay. They're all doing something. They're all either serving in the army or volunteering one way or another. Everybody is trying to be useful in their own way. And one of the most useful things that people are doing is just giving their support to somebody else, being there for each other. Everybody from the festival knows that everybody else is supporting them. And people know that all of Israel is supporting them. And every time I go to one of these events and I give my presentation and I see all the people's faces, or I see everyone watching online, I know that everybody there, or almost everybody, is giving us their support in one way or another. Whether it's just being there or it's actually donating to one thing or another, whether it's donating to help kids or to give food to soldiers or to provide mental health support to people like myself who need it. Everybody's being useful. And I wouldn't have this opportunity to share with all of these people and see these amazing communities and see for myself firsthand all the support we do have. Because, you know, it's right now looking outside in Toronto and London and Montreal and New York and Washington, it's like everybody hates us. There's so much anti-Semitism. The whole world is against us. They all want us dead. They all want us gone. It feels like an overwhelming majority feel this way, but it's not. They're just really loud. There's just more of them being loud. And that's all it is. They're loud and passionate, and that's it. Though there's way more support for us, for Jews, from within our own community and from the outside. I have seen many, many, many non-Jews who are like, I'm with you. I want to help in some way. I want to know more. In Boston University, for example, 80 some odd people came to see me speak. Most of them were non-Jews. It was amazing. And every time I see these groups of people come to hear me speak, you know, it makes me feel more positive about the situation. Like, it's going to be resolved and we're going to be okay because, you know, they're on our side. And it's not just myself. There's 2 other survivors in the southern United States who are doing the same thing, going from one place to another, sharing their stories. And you can see that on the Instagram of Faces of October 7th. And you can see more photos and videos of my own and other people's that I didn't have time to go over during this presentation on my own Instagram. And if you'd like to donate to keep the project going, that's something you can do. But like I said, your support is more than enough. But if people want to hear me share more, if people want me to go somewhere to share, I'm happy to, as many times as I'm asked, because it's something that I want to do. It's something that I know helps. So thank you very much for having me here to share and inviting me to do this. It means a lot to me. Dan.
Well, yes, Shye, thank you very much for sharing your moving and terrifying story with us today. And, you know, I feel confident that 50 years from now or more, you will be telling this story to new generations. It will be important that this story be told forever. And what you've done here, I'm sure, is going to educate and inform for decades to come. It's thanks to the brave efforts like yours that the world has proof of the barbarity of Hamas terrorism. So thank you again to Shye Klein Weinstein for sharing the story of his escape from Hamas terrorists at the Nova Festival on October 7th. And thank you to our viewers for joining us for this important webinar today. We must hear these stories so the reality of the terror is never, ever forgotten. We also ask that you consider donating to our Israel Emergency Fund and stand with us unwaveringly in support of Israel during this time of great need. Find out more at b'nai b'rith.org/Israel@war. For my guest today, Shye Klein Weinstein, I'm your host, Dan Mariaschin.